Lewis Belt started comedy at the age of 18, hitting every comedy stage he could find in the Bay Area. Just a few years into his career, he created the character Sonny Bo. The videos proved to be a success, earning him over 10 million views on social media. Belt's stand-up comedy eventually led him to getting noticed by the industry and working with people like Mike Epps and more. Lewis was most recently seen on the MTV series Are You the One? And has a new project coming out with DeMarcus Cousins on Friday, October 9th, titled Rookie of the Year. Today, Lewis Belt is in the studio to discuss his career, the people that have inspired him along the way, and what keeps him motivated to keep going. First and foremost, Lewis, thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling rusty. You know what I'm saying? I've been quarantining for about 6 months, so.
6, 7.
6, 7. So it just feels weird just to be out, you know, but I'm happy to see you. Like, I'm happy to see everybody. I'm giving random people hugs at the grocery station with the mask and everything on my face.
Well, we definitely do appreciate you stopping by, especially during this time that we're trying to figure out. But one thing we noticed with coronavirus, a lot of comedians are starting to move to social media because comedy clubs are closed depending on where you are. But you've picked up on social media well before that. What was it about the social media audience that you saw value in to take advantage of their audience?
Yeah, I started social media, I think it was like 5 years ago. Maybe 6, it's been 6 years. And I had to do it because I was doing stand-up comedy before like all the skits, and like I'm trying to perform, and people like on social media and they telling me I should work with like certain comedians that's like internet famous, and I'm like, bro, I'm a comedian, bro, like come see me live. But people wasn't interested in that at the time. So it's like, all right, let me get some skits going to get my notoriety out there, popularity higher, so they can care about my stand-up comedy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I tried my skits and the Sonny Bo character and all that, and they started picking up for me, and I never stopped.
Yeah, and I mean it's done very well for you. Speaking of Sonny Bo, what that's a character that a lot of people took to. What inspired that character? Where did that come from?
The Bay Area. It's so obvious, like if you ever seen Sonny Bo with the skits, it's so obvious that the Bay Area influenced it. And it's just so many different, not characters, but different type of people in the Bay, to the point where I put Sonny Bo as like, I put all the ignorant ass Bay Area niggas in one person, and I just made it Sonny Bo. And the reason I called it Sonny Bo is because in Oakland, you know, if you got a Bo at the end of your name, you with the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it could have been Louis Bo, it could have been Diddy Bo, anything, but if you put the Bo in there. So I don't know what made me choose Sonny.
Yeah.
It just felt like I'm gonna go with Sonny Bo.
And I mean, it's worked for you though.
It's
worked for you. Were you ever worried, because I know a lot of comedians that are really in that hustle of going to comedy clubs and having stand-up shows, were you ever worried when you made that transition to Instagram or, you know, social media, that you would become like a social media comedian?
That was the only reason I didn't want to do skits, because I didn't want to have the image like I'm an Instagram sensation or I'm an Instagram comedian. So it's like how people, I kind of feel like my background is like damn near opposite of majority of the comedians in my era, because I was kind of like nervous to pick up the phone to do a skit. Like I'm doing it over and over again. Like I don't know how to do a skit. This feel weird for me, you know, versus when I was on stage, I felt comfortable. So it's like, yeah, it was a big jump for my career, and it felt odd for a minute, and I still deal with it to this day because of my age and my era, that, you know, since I got a following on social media, people be like, oh, like you're the guy from Instagram.
Right.
And I be correct them like, no, I'm a comedian. Like I don't let people say that to me. I be like, yeah, like I'm a comedian. Like you follow me on Instagram.
Right, you follow me, but this is what I do.
Yeah, don't walk up to like, cause all the comedians got social media following now, like, so don't walk up on goddamn Eddie Griffin and be like, oh, you're the Instagram comedian.
Right, yeah.
You know, so I can't say I want the same respect as Eddie Griffin, but just acknowledge me as a comedian that got a following on social media.
Yeah, and I've noticed that's important in that field or industry.
Yeah, cause it's a different feeling with performing in front of 2 people. You know what I'm saying? Your mama the only one at the show, your partner's the only one at your show, and you know, you performing in front of, you know, a bunch of random people or comedians at an open mic. So it's like, I never forgot those days, so it's kind of like, no matter if I get 1 million followers, I still feel like the comedian that was at the open mic. So, you know, I take it serious.
Yeah, and I think it's good for your audience to know that too. To know like there's a big difference, and you kind of establish that.
Yeah, so people, y'all can offend me for walking up there and compare me to some Instagram. But thanks for the love, though, for real.
Look, hey, as long as an audience is an audience at this point, like you said, all comedians kind of have that social media following. But as you navigated, so you went from stand-up to social media, adding those two together. How have you been able to navigate through Hollywood with this success?
I feel like Hollywood only fuck with me because of who I am and where I'm from. Like, what I'm saying, the Sonny Bo character and like, the Louis Bell and Sonny Bo combination with the skits, it gave me like a big fan base in the Bay Area to the point where it's like the Bay Area treat me like it's people like Jay Stalin, like a person, a rap legend and where I'm from, and he told me like when I was like 19, like you are Kevin Hart, like you are Kevin Hart, and it's right. Like, nigga, yeah, that's a lot of pressure, but it haven't been a big comedian out of my city since Mark Curry, Mr. Cooper, and Mr. Cooper in a whole nother era. So when I'm doing that, Mr. Cooper always in the neighborhood, he from the town, but my era wasn't able to watch Mark Curry grow. Right. So they seen me grow, so they thinking like I'm setting the blueprint for comedy, so I got a different love. So when I go to Hollywood, they kind of always get the benefit of the doubt because they like, oh, like, he get love, and Bay Area is a area that's big. So, I get opportunities because of where I'm from type shit.
So does that create a lot of pressure for you? Like, do you feel that pressure from your city?
No, because it's so authentic and it's so organic. I don't feel like it's pressure because I wanted the pressure. That's what I wanted. Right. So that's what I signed up for. But I kind of feel like what I do feel like is pressure is because it's certain things I can't do because of my city. Right. You know what I'm saying? If I was like I'm not gonna say a loser, but if I was just like anybody, I could just do anything in Hollywood and get away with it because there's no expectations. But like, where I'm from, like Oakland, they move off of principle. And like, if I put on a dress or something, they like, hey, like, bruh, we ain't on that. Right. So I just can't do anything for no type of clout or money, so. But that's who I am, though.
Yeah, and I know you've kind of talked about selling your soul, like not selling your soul in the industry. Is that kind of where, like, wearing the dress kind of is like, I'm not going to sell my soul to just make a financial gain? Yeah,
but because it's a personal decision. It's not even like, I was raised by OGs, not IG. So, you feel me? Like, personally, like Louis Belt, that's my daddy name. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm moving. Belt is a name. Our family from Oakland. So it's like I'm moving on some like, hold on, like I came back. I don't feel comfortable at home. Right. And I can't make no decisions and I'm making decisions for my last name, not my first name, like Damon Dash said. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I feel like it's pressure because of that, but that's who I am.
Have you ever had to turn down an opportunity like that? Like to put on a dress or?
I haven't had to turn down an opportunity like that, but I was on MTV and they never told me to do anything. Right. But the whole thing was, it was like an episode on Are You the One where all the men had like dresses on because we was in Hawaii and that's their culture. Right. So they put on the little dresses, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm not wearing that because that's gonna look like a dress from where I'm from, and outside of where I'm from, that feel like a dress to me. Right. You feel me? So I'm not gonna do that, and I kind of had to make a decision off of who I am and where I'm coming from. I was looking crazy on set. They was like, you're taking it serious. Everybody like, come on, just put on the dress. And I'm like, bro, because I got to go back home. Right. Y'all can go back home and y'all creating the image out here. Like.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of strength too, because not a lot of people can hold that, especially with the pressure of everybody around you saying like, man, just put on the dress. It's just for an episode.
Yeah, but if you come from a background where, people saying, man, just take this gun or do this, and you could tell them no. I can tell you square ass niggas no. You feel me, that I don't want to do this because I told gangsters no. Right. I done told pimps no. Yeah. So of course I could tell a fucking comedian or a director no, I don't want to do that.
So it wasn't really hard for you to step away from that.
Ain't gonna kill me in the hair. So. Yeah. So, no. But I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I want to figure out how we can make this work. So what we came up with, the director saying, okay, we can find this helmet you can wear because it's a theme. So we want you to look a part of the show like the rest of the castmates. Okay, put the hat on my head, but I'm not putting on the dress. Yeah. And they like, okay, good. I put the hat on, and the show was, nobody knows that story. It just looked like.
No, I appreciate you giving us the insight on this.
Yeah, so shout out MTV and RE1 for letting me be who I am. I really appreciate that because I was damn near ready to go home if they wasn't going to let me. Like they forced me to put that dress on.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, I really got to go back home. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. So in your career over time, one of the biggest comparisons I see is you and Mike Epps. So I kind of want to dive into that a little bit. I know there were 2 instances where you met Mike, I think at a younger age and then later in life. Can you recall those moments when you first met Mike?
I met Mike Epps when I was in the Bay Area and I was at a mall in the Bay, Richmond Hilltop Mall, and I just bumped into him like. I'm with me, my mom and dad, and then my dad say, what's up? Like, what's up? He walked by, because my dad don't be tripping off famous people and shit like that, so he just kept it player. But my mom, moms, like, did you just shake Mike Epps' hand? Like, you feel me? So I heard my mom like, Mike Epps. I'm like, where Mike Epps? And then he was like across like the mall, and I seen him, and then I'm like, hey. Like, I'm 10 years old when I met him, so I'm like, I'm a fan. Like, I'm like, Mike Epps, you feel me? And he came over there, he took a picture with me, and I was hella excited, like I just seen a famous person at the mall. So it's like, at the time, I didn't even want to be a comedian. I wasn't even thinking about being a comedian. I was happy to see a celebrity at the mall. And that ain't common in the Bay Area. You don't see celebrities in the Bay, so I was just, but I seen him again when I was 20 years old, and I was 2 years into the comedy game. But by the time then, it's like my first year creating the skits and getting some popularity in my city. So one of my boys, the boy Dane, he's somebody well-connected, well-respected in my city, and he linked us together because he good friends with Lil Duval. Right. So they would shoot Meet the Blacks. So I pulled up on set because Dane like, pull up on the set, you can meet Duval. So I'm pulling up just thinking Lil Duval there, but knowing Mike Epps is part of the set, but I don't think I'm gonna actually meet him. So when I pulled up, Dame introduced me to everybody, Duval, Mike, everybody that's on set, but Mike Epps was like, he still is like one of my favorite comedians. So I'm like, you feel me? Like, I'm Juice, you feel me? Like, but I didn't have to introduce myself. I got introduced properly, like, Dame was like, yeah, this is one of the hottest comedians in our city and the whole city behind him and everything. And, I think it'd be a good look for y'all to link. So I didn't have to ask Mike Epps for a picture. Like, he like, yeah, let's take a pic. And he was like, take down my number. Cause I feel like one thing like I learned from just coming up in the Bay, like Mr. Fab gave me some valuable game that I'll never forget. He told me you only got one first impression. So I feel like a lot of people that I respect in this industry, I kind of like, I'm not gonna address them until it's the right way. Like, so I feel like that was a good first impression. So how I met him was it created like a way for when I see Mike Epps and, that I got respect with him. Right. You know what I'm saying? Cause he know like, I got respect. We met and I had some type of value and respect to my name to the point where he respected that.
So one of the things I noticed that you said 2 years before you met Mike Epps, you were already heavy in the game. You're already putting the footwork down. I think a lot of people think it was Mike Epps who kind of took you, you met Mike Epps and then you kind of blew up.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that time frame before Mike. What was that like? What inspired you to, get into comedy? And then once you're in comedy, how are you, putting your foot down? What was that time frame like? Just kind of clear up, because I feel like a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, Mike kind of started out your career, but you were putting in the work before Mike.
Yeah, so those years before Mike, it was like I'm getting mentored and gained by hustlers and well-respected businessmen. So like people coming up, people thought like in Oakland, in the Bay Area, they thought like Mr. Fab was my mentor or manager. Because Mr. Fab is a mentor of mine, but they thought like he was my manager. Right, okay. Like when you seen Fab, you kind of damn near seen me at a point, you know what I'm saying? So I'm getting introduced to a lot of people And then Marshawn Lynch, that's another person that it's like, I'm around him doing this prime of his career with the not getting the ball during the Seahawks game in the Super Bowl. Like I did a skit with Marshawn Lynch literally like 2 days after that play happened. It's like, so the Super Bowl was over, and I'm thinking, damn, I ain't gonna be able to do my skit with Marshawn Lynch because he probably upset that he lost the Super Bowl. Right. Marshawn, like, we move different. Like, you feel me? Like, if I say we gonna do it, so he came off the plane and we did the skit, and he gave me cameras and gave me a lot of advice to the point where it's like, by the time I got to Mike Epps, I'm like, I know business. Right. I just need I need to see business in comedy, in the comedy industry. So for me to get around Mike and to see a successful comedian, right, that was new for me, and that's what gave me like more hope and more inspiration. But I feel like the game I got from Oakland and in the Bay Area helped me maintain a relationship with Mike because I didn't need nothing from Mike when I'm dealing with him.
That's powerful, yeah. Why do you think people compare you and Mike?
I think people compare me and Mike S because it's some weird shit. It's weird, like we just look like we kind of look like each other, and I see it in him, and he see it in me, and we know that in the public, like, you know, it's just a lot of natural things he have too, like his mannerisms. It's similar to mine, and it's to the point where like Mike Epps met me when I was 10 years old, and I was with my mom and dad. Right. So I bring my mom and dad damn near everywhere I go. So even when my mom and dad with me, and we go around Mike Epps, my dad and my mom like, that's crazy, y'all just naturally like that. Like, I'm glad my fucking parents been married for 30 years and my mama worked every day and I know where she was at every day. Cause I would be like, nigga, did you mess with? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the age too, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, of course, Mike Epps couldn't be my brother and no shit, or father and no shit like that. Yeah, so, but it's like that too. I feel like people compare us because we just got a lot of similarities, and it's not a lot of people like myself, and it's not a lot of people like Mike Epps. And I think, you know, I feel like that's something like me and DC Young Fly got in common. Like, DC Young Fly, I think he can't, I don't think, I seen an interview on him. He said, like, nigga, I'm not acting like Chris Tucker. Like, nigga, this how I talk, this how I look. Like, I can't, and that's exactly how I feel. Like, I can't control my daddy name is Louis Belt. Nigga, like, where I'm from, we pop our collar. This ain't no, this is not a day-day role. Right. Nigga, I was like this in middle school. You feel me? So, I can't control it. I think they compare us because, shit, we got a lot of similarities, like Snoop Dogg and Nipsey Hussle. Right. But, you know, once you get to know me, you would know, like, oh, they're different when it comes to a lot of things, because I feel like why I'm different, because I am Louis Belt and he is Mike Epps. It's a difference.
Right. And do you feel the need to have to, like, you know, put that stance down, like, you know, Mike Epps is Mike Epps and Louis Belt is Louis Belt? Do you feel the need to have to tell the difference, like, hey, we're two different people?
Yes. And I think that's necessary because at the time, I was kind of like okay with saying, shit, hell yeah. I like, you know, like saying I'm the next Mike Epps is a compliment. Right. So I'm like, okay, if that's what y'all want to say, then let's run with it. But I'm at the same time, I'm a person that's always hungry and dedicated. So if you feel me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I allow people to say I'm the next Mike Epps. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now it's kind of like I'm 26 years old. Like, I'm a grown ass man. Like, I've been living on my own for 6 years, and I got a girl, I got a family, not a family like with kids, but like my mom and dad and nephews and shit. I'm like, nigga, I'm deaf near shit on my family bloodline. Like, nigga, I'm supposed to be shouting out my daddy or something out this motherfucker. You know, my OGs, not Mike Epps, somebody I met in the industry. You feel me? So I can't run with that because that's not who I am. I was Louis Belt before I met Mike Epps. So I gotta put that out there, like, Mike Epps is somebody I respect in this industry, somebody I'm thankful for knowing, but at the end of the day, start to get to know me.
Yeah. And I think they'll definitely do that in this special that you have, so I wanna kinda go into that. So first, before we completely go into that, I know Mike Epps hosted Boogie, Boogie Comedy Slam, and now that you have your special, I know people probably think that there's some type of connection there. So I want to ask, did Mike have any assistance in that opportunity?
Not that I know of. And I talked to Boogie, you know what I'm saying? That's why I was on the show, because it was in Oakland. So a lot of people, once they said they were shooting a special in Oakland, you know, of course word got to me, and the opportunity presented itself, and I didn't even know who was on the show at the time. Gotcha, yeah. So like, I'm kind of telling them like, okay, this show at the Paramount, you feel me? That's a big ass theater. So I'm like, who was part of the show? You know, and I'm like, I kind of demanded the producer to tell me, because they was like, no, it's like, we're gonna announce the lineup. I'm like, I'm not finna get on a lineup with anybody, because I don't wanna get presented like a local comedian. Like, I don't want 20 comedians on this show. Like, you feel me? Like, is it gonna be like a A-list show or like a comedy company? What the fuck is this? So he told me, he was like, Carlos Miller on the lineup. I'm like, Carlos, my dog. Like, okay. Then he said, Mike Epps on the lineup. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, this a big show. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like me and Mike didn't know we was on the show. I knew I was on the show before Mike did, because I needed to know the lineup. Right. You know, but it was just timing. Like, Mike didn't know I was on the show until the flyer came out. You know, so it was kind of like a stepping stone for me to be like shit, I'm putting in work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting in some work to the point I don't need like no cosign when it comes to be on a lineup of the show, you know. Yeah. And I feel like I deserved it too, because it's my area. Yeah. So yeah, I felt like I needed to be on the show.
Yeah, no, we're definitely excited for everyone to see it, and I know you're probably pretty stoked about having your own special.
No, I ain't gonna lie. Like, this is one of the biggest stepping stones in my career. Like, this is one of the projects that's big, that I'm really, really, really proud of, because I've been working on this special for like a year because of the production side. So like, me and my manager, like Boogie, his team and my team do too much, partnered up and produced this special together. So it's like, this is something that, like, what you're seeing with this special, this is like my eye and Boogie team eye together, and we had the same vision on it. Yeah. So it's like, it's Steph Curry's a part of it. Like, I'm a huge NBA fan, so it's like, for it to be like NBA and Oakland based, yeah, it's like, this is something that I'm proud of, and I want everybody to see, you know. Yeah. But it's not a 1 hour special. So I know for the comedian heads, they're like, that's not a special because it's not an hour. It ain't about that, you know what I'm saying? I made it short and sweet because I feel like I want to introduce me into the stand-up world the right way. I want to do a strong 20 instead of a cool 40. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been doing it for 8 years, so of course I know how to do 45 minutes. I headline, yeah, but I don't feel like I have headlining material for the world yet. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's in the universal. I could talk about sex, and I could talk about nigga getting slapped. I could talk shit for 45 minutes, but straight material, it's a strong 20 that a comedian in the industry can respect and a fan appreciate. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to make it a short special.
Well, congratulations.
And shout out to Boogie before we end that. Shout out to DeMarcus Cousins, because he's the only reason that I was on the show from the jump, and the reason that this special is coming out now. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Boogie. He knows 100 with me.
That's a lot of love. A lot. Now, before you head out, I do want to test your comedy. Okay. So as you know, Comedy Hype released a card game, trivia based. So I'm just gonna pick a random card just to see if you can answer.
I'm confident with comedy, so we can fuck with it.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with this one then. I was gonna try to pick something else. Okay. All right, what comedian invented the term booty call as part of their stand-up act?
Bill Bellamy.
Okay, you the king of comedy. Like, look, hold on, wait a minute, let me.
Yeah, I wasn't inspired by Instagram. I was inspired by Def Comedy Jam and Comic View.
But now, hold on then, let me pick real. Okay, here we go. Oh, that one too. Let me see. Oh, that one too easy.
This is fun. I ain't felt confident about a test in my whole life. I was horrible in school, so I'm like, shit.
Name the sitcom. Well, nope, I'm not gonna do that one. That one's too easy. Okay, here we go.
Okay, you got me nervous now.
Good. That's what I was trying to build up. To build it up. This comedian was originally cast to play Robin in 1995's Batman Returns.
Ooh, I don't know that. That's some whole other Robin and Batman.
In 1995's Batman Returns.
What? So who was hot in 95? Because you had to be big to be considered the Robin in comedy. 95? 95. Shit, Jamie Foxx?
And I'm not gonna give the answer. I'm gonna ask you, let us know down below, what do you think? Or who, if you know the answer. This comedian was originally, no, he's still over here trying to guess. This comedian was originally cast to play Robin in 1995's Batman Returns. If you know the answer, let us know in the comments below. For the Comedy Hype News Show, I'm Symphony Thompson.
If you want to take Comedy Hype home or to your next kickback, you can order your game now at comedyhype.com/shop and follow Comedy Hype Shop for your game updates. Comedy Hype the game, create your own rules.